Hello and welcome to Norwood News. Today is Friday, September 29th, and I'm your host, Brian Boudreau. It's great to have you with us as we end another week here in Norwood. This week on Norwood News, furlongs is on the move. Stacy Lane Health Department Director has a fall update. But first, the school committee held a public forum Tuesday evening, providing the public the opportunity to discuss their opinions on naming the new middle school. The committee met the following night and delivered the news we've all been waiting for. Staff producer Ron Marshallsea has this story.
After a long process, a lot of emotion, and plenty of good discussions, the school committee has finally announced the official name of the brand new middle school.
Thanks, Kate. Yes, Joan.
I'll make the motion to keep the name as is.
Okay, Joan made the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Kate. Okay, so I will start polling with.
Wait, can we
any comments? Sorry, is there any discussion on the motion?
Keep the name as is. I just want to also thank everybody for coming out and engaging in dialogue with us. That is what we need at this point in time.
Okay. Any other discussion? Okay, so the motion on the table is to keep the school name as is, seconded by Kate, motion by Joan. I will poll starting with Teresa.
Yes.
Kate?
Yes.
Joan?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
And I am a yes as well, so that passes 5-0.
The committee continued to stress how important it is that the community is involved in things like this. They also thanked each and every person involved in the process of deciding to retain the name, the Dr. Philip O. Coakley Middle School. For Norwood News, I'm Ron Marshallsea.
The NHS Alumni Association, as well as the Coakley family, expressed their gratitude and joy in the decision to keep the name. One of Norwood's favorite spots, the Juice Bar, officially announced that New England Patriots linebacker Juwan Bentley will be the ambassador of the Juice Bar.
So we have the captain of the defense team of the Patriots coming in. He just signed a contract with us to be our ambassador. So Juwan Bentley is coming, and he's going to make some bowls. He's going to sign autographs. So it's going to be a fun day. So I have a friend who's a customer, and he owns a restaurant in Boston, and he posted a video of Juwan and other players at his restaurant, and I liked the post. And Juwan started following us, the Juice Bar, and the next day I got an email from his marketing guy, and we spoke and we signed a contract.
Bentley, a patron of the Juice Bar, was excited to go behind the counter and get to work.
So I started off with the acai bowl. I started off not knowing what I was doing for real, but I know I like berries, so I felt like that was a start for me. So I added some berries, a little bit of peanut butter, some mangoes, pineapples. I basically put in everything that was over there and was just going to see what it tastes like. And it ended up being great with some granola. So that was great. Then I turned around and made a smoothie. Probably a little bit it might be the same stuff that's in this acai bowl in the smoothie. So it turned out being great as well. And then a sandwich. Like I said, hadn't eaten avocado until today. So this is probably the most monumental thing for me today, because now I know going forward I could probably try avocado here and there. So it's been great. The food's been good. The atmosphere is great. Aesthetically it's great, especially nowadays. Everybody's kind of looking for that aesthetic. And it's great. The food is all, they're not flooding you down with sugar and things like that. Everything's natural. Everything's great, and the people here are great. So I would say, with that being said, I feel like it's like a 10 out of 10 spot if I was giving it a Yelp review.
With a contract awarded, the renovation of the women's locker room at the Civic has officially begun. As the demolition phase wraps up, Town Procurement Officer Jason Adams shares the progress on the long-awaited overhaul.
Yeah, so as you can see, hopefully we're wrapping up the demo portion of the project. All the stalls are up, the lockers are out. So then we'll begin the bigger process, which is the construction phase. So that's where we stand right now. We're having Vintage Properties out of Weston. They were the winning bidder. They're doing a great job so far. Today we're having our every other week meeting that we have with the architect and Vintage to discuss the progress of the project. So we have an end date, estimated completion date prior to the end of the year. So we try to build in a little leeway, but most likely by mid-December, this will be ready to use by anyone who's wanting to use it. So that's where we currently stand.
As the renovation continues, NCM will produce regular updates of this process. When Norwood News returns, Furlongs is getting some new digs, Stacy Lane has a fall health report, and Ron Marshalsea has the latest in sports.
This month on Norwood Digest, Jack McCarthy sits down with inspirational speaker Daniel Mathematics Ravalian. Megan Corbett makes a special appearance in front of the camera to learn about how one Norwood resident is trying to raise awareness of the coral reef. And the most popular Norwood resident, Mustang Sally, visits the set. Tune in this month for Norwood Digest, hosted by Jack McCarthy.
A beloved and treasured sweet store in Norwood is finally ready for their highly anticipated move to downtown. NCM stopped by Furlongs to catch up with owners Nancy Thrasher and Jennifer Lee to learn what customers can expect with the new store, while still reassuring these customers the charm of Furlongs is here to stay.
We're finally getting to the point where we're almost ready to move in. It's been a long process, just with construction, with COVID, having stuff unavailable. It has taken a long time. So we're finally seeing progress over there, and it's finally starting to look like a store. They would say, oh, we can do this next week, and a month and a half later, they'd finally come in to do it. So that was probably our biggest struggle, and I think some of them had trouble getting equipment. We're going to hopefully keep the same cozy charm, but most of our products kind of bring that cozy charm into the store, but it's going to be bigger and better. So it's obviously a much bigger location. Ice cream, we have 4 windows at ice cream instead of the 2 we have now. More flavors for ice cream, and then even in candy, we have more area for products and gift items.
With the move, we're getting a whole new kitchen space as well as a new storefront. Problem with our kitchen here was we didn't have control over humidity or temperature very well, so we'll be able to do things, get candy canes on the shelf earlier at Christmas, or be able to do maybe have peanut brittle and cashew brittle that people ask for, have that year round for the first time. Now that we're finally getting to the end stages, the first thing that will be ready is going to be the kitchen. So finally seeing that come to fruition and see that finalized and having that space, and then seeing the storefront come together, it's all been just an amazing process having it all happen. We've kept little things like the wallpaper. We were able to have it sort of recreated, and we're going to do little things to kind of decorate and put things up on the walls that kind of bring a little bit of this place to the new location.
This is actually getting torn down, which is sad. We actually started, which a lot of people in Norwood know this, we started right beside the theater back in 1929. And so now we finally kind of feel like we're going back home, because that was where the business started. So we've been here since 1960. This has been the only location since '66. So it does kind of feel like we're going back home.
The Furlongs team is hoping to get through Halloween at the current store, close for a few days, and be up and running in the new store by early November. As we officially enter the fall season, Board of Health Director Stacy Lane has some important information for what to do to stay healthy and safe during the fall and winter seasons.
Here we are on this beautiful fall day, but with the beginning of fall marks the beginning of flu, cold, and virus season. So I want to give you a few tips on how to prevent these illnesses and how to stay healthy. So first, I'm going to talk about the flu. I think we all are very familiar with the flu, and we have flu vaccines that are available. We offer them every fall, and they're available here at the health department. Right now, currently, we are offering clinics at the senior center and senior housing, and we have some small clinics here at Town Hall, and we actually offer home visits for those who are homebound. There are 2 different doses or 2 different types of vaccine. One is the regular quadrivalent vaccine that is for our ages, adult ages, and then we have the senior dose vaccine that is a little bit of a stronger vaccine, has a stronger antigen to kind of elicit a response, better immune response for people that, for older individuals over the age of 65 that may need a little booster to get that strong immune response. And fall's a perfect time to get this vaccine because it takes a couple of weeks to develop an immune response. So you want to get it now so you're protected for the winter season and get you in through the spring. So then another vaccine that we have, or we don't have but is available to help with viruses, is COVID vaccine. So there's a new COVID vaccine that is a new formulation for the strain that's currently going around right now. We hope to get it soon. We don't have it yet, but it is becoming available. It is available at pharmacies. So if you need one now, I suggest you get one as soon as possible. Again, it takes 2 weeks for that vaccine to work also. And then the third one, some people probably heard on the news a lot, is RSV. So RSV virus is, for most people, can be a mild virus, but for young children, for infants, premature babies, and for older individuals, it can be a very harsh illness. You can cause some serious consequences, and can be quite deadly for infants. So if you are 60 and over and you want protection from RSV, speak to your healthcare provider to see if you are a good candidate for that shot. And then people don't know, if you want to know what virus you have, if you're unsure and you're feeling sick and you want to know if you have COVID tests are now available again through the United States Postal Service. So if you go on to covid.gov/tests, you can order a test, 4 tests per household that will come delivered right to your door. And just if you want to know if you have COVID, because you still want to stay home if you're sick. Those guidelines are still in effect that you need to isolate at home for 5 days if you test positive and wear a mask for the remaining 5 days if you're feeling well enough to go out. And then the other tips that are the tips that don't change are wash your hands frequently, use hand sanitizer if you don't have access to a sink to be able to wash your hands, cough into your arm, stay at home if you're sick, especially if you have a fever or you're coughing, and again, wear a mask if you have to go out. If you were exposed to COVID, that's still, if you do have someone in your house that is a COVID case and you want to go out, you don't have to stay home. Back in the day, you had a quarantine. You're allowed to be out, but you have to wear a mask for 10 days and monitor yourself for symptoms. And then some of the other basic stuff, like I said, it's a beautiful fall day. Get out and walk, eat right, exercise, try to reduce stress in your life, and just stay healthy, Norwood.
Now let's toss it over to Owen Descharnay for the latest in school news.
Hi, I'm Owen Descharnay, and I'm a senior at Norwood High School. Let's take a look at some activities happening in our Norwood schools this week. In Norwood High School news, all students were lined in the hallways getting their pictures taken to update their IDs. For underclassmen, these pictures are also included in this year's yearbook. At the Coakley Middle School, there will be an informational meeting for students and parents on Tuesday, October 3rd at 7:30 p.m. It is not a required meeting, but for those who would like more information on the trip to Washington, D.C. in May, a representative from Hummingbird Travel will share details and answer any questions. Also at CMS, there will be an open house Wednesday, October 4th from 6 to 8. At the Balch School, Principal Diane Ferreira had an awesome day visiting classes as the Balch Bear to promote their Fun Run kickoff. Balch families are making donations for their Fun Run on October 6th. The funds will be used for field trips and buses. If students raise $4,000, then Ferreira will wear the Balch Bear suit all day. If they reach $6,000, then a few teachers have agreed to pie in the face. Let's go Balch. At the Callahan School, here are examples of student engagement. The concept of student engagement is based on that learning improves when students are curious, interested, or inspired. As you can see from the Smiles and Mike Downs 5th grade class, the students were engaged and had a great time exploring the phases of the moon. By using Mr. Downs' moon paper, the children were able to view the different phases of the moon from the perspective of here on Earth, and it is not made of cheese. September 15th was International Dot Day, a global celebration of creativity, courage, and collaboration. What began as a simple story in a picture book by Peter Reynolds has become so much more. At the Cleveland School, the students celebrated Dot Day in many ways. Here is a video produced by reading specialist Nora Galvin.
The Dot by Peter H. Reynolds. Our class was over, but Vashti sat glued to her chair. Her paper was empty.
Vashti's teacher leaned over the blank paper. Ah, a polar bear in a snowstorm, she said.
Very funny, said Vashti. I just can't draw.
Her teacher smiled. Just make a mark and see where it takes you. Vashti grabbed a marker and gave the paper a good strong jab. There! Her teacher picked up the paper and studied it carefully.
She pushed the paper towards Vashti and quietly said, "Now sign it."
Vashti thought for a moment. Well, maybe I can't draw, but I can sign my name. The next week, when Vashti walked into art class, she was surprised to see what was hanging above her teacher's desk. It was a little dot she had drawn. Her dot, all framed in swirly gold. I can make a better dot than that. She opened her never-before-used set of watercolors and set to work. The blue mixed with the yellow, she discovered that she could make a green dot. Vashti kept experimenting, lots of little dots in many colors.
If I can make little dots, I can make big dots too. Vashti splashed her colors with a bigger brush on a bigger paper to make bigger dots.
Vashti even made a dot by not making a dot. At the school art show a few weeks later, Vashti's many darts made quite a splash.
Vashti noticed a little boy gazing up at her.
You're a really great artist. I wish I could draw, he said. I bet you can, said Vashti. Me? No, not me. I can't draw a straight line with a ruler.
Vashti smiled when she handed the boy a blank sheet of paper. Show me. The boy's pencil showed as he drew his line.
Vashti stared at the boy's squiggle, and then she said,
Please sign it.
Thanks to Nora Galvin for producing that video. The Prescott School introduced a new program called Girls on the Run, led by Mrs. Lyons, Miss Healy, and Miss Fico. This program focuses on the whole girl to work to inspire girls to build confidence and other important life skills through dynamic interactive lessons and physical activities. The curriculum is based around understanding ourselves, valuing relationships and teamwork, and recognizing how we can shape the world at large. This fall, the Prescott School is running a 9-week program with 2 90-minute sessions each week where girls complete team-building activities, self-reflective journaling, and physical fitness activities. This is a build-up to a 5K race at Suffolk Downs on Saturday, November 18th. Girls are encouraged to build up their strength, endurance, and self-confidence to complete the race and cheer on each other's success. At the Little Mustangs Preschool, A is for Apple. During the month of September, preschoolers focus on Apple themed through books, arts, project, math games, science experiments, and sensory activities. Students do apple stamping using red, green, and yellow paints. They roll dice and count apple seeds. Students also count apples and sort apples by size and color, in sensory bins and in games on touch view screens. Some students even made applesauce. They used their fine motor skills to peel, mash, and stir apples in a bowl. Everyone loves the fall scent of apples and cinnamon filling the halls of Little Mustangs. Well, that's it for school news. The students are always learning, and thanks to all the educators who share their school news with us. Now let's go to Ron Marshalsea with the latest in sports news.
I'm Ron Marshalsea, and this is your Sports Update. The football team went to King Philip last Friday night and played well against the number 4 team in the state, but couldn't get the win. The Mustangs look to get the wins going again when they head to Medfield on Friday the 29th at 7 o'clock. The field hockey team is now 7-1 on the season with their Friday afternoon loss to Walpole, 2-0 win over Dedham, and 2-0 win against Bellingham. The final score of the Walpole matchup was not indicative of how the girls played, as they played fast and tough the entire game, not giving up regardless of the scoreboard. 3 out of the 4 goals in the last 2 games were scored by Bridget Connolly, with Lindsay Rogers adding one in the Dedham game. The Mustangs face Braintree the 29th at 4 at home, and then the Marauders again, this time away, on Monday, October 2nd at 4 o'clock. The girls soccer team took on Bellingham this week but did not get the win in this one. The Mustangs played well all 80 minutes and only let up a goal in the opening minutes of the game. They are going to Walpole for their Friday afternoon game on the 29th at 4 o'clock. The boys soccer team also faced Bellingham this week but also couldn't pull out the win. Their next matchup is against Norton at home Tuesday, October 3rd at 4 o'clock. Both cross-country teams faced Ashland this week, both coming very close to the win even though the teams were plagued by injuries and sickness. It was senior day, and NCM got to talk to 3 seniors about how their season is going and advice they have for underclassmen about running cross-country.
My season's going pretty good. Like a little improvement here and there. And I think the team's going pretty good too. Like everyone's succeeding and everyone's doing really good.
I think it's going pretty good. Just running stronger as a group together, and we'll do all pretty good.
My season's been good, pretty good. Training hard, working hard, getting what I need to get done. The team's been bonding well, consider ourselves a family, so we treat ourselves like family and we have a good time.
It doesn't matter if you're slow or fast, just do your best, and that's all cross country is. We run as a group, we do the best we can.
Make sure you're stretching, drinking your water, work on your fundamentals, and you'll have a good time.
The volleyball team lost to Dedham at home, but followed it up with back-to-back 3-0 wins over Norton and Dedham. Molly Federico and Natalie Gale were both huge parts of the wins against Norton and Dedham, respectively. Their next matchup is at Westwood Tuesday the 3rd at 6:30. And the golf team beat Bellingham 243-262. Zach Badger and Teddy Caparata both shot 3 over par with 38s, bringing the team's record to 6-2. And that is all I have for this Sports Update. I'm Ron Marshalsea. And Norwood News will be right back after this break.
If you're looking for a new place to grab food, some new entertainment, or just curious to see what cool places the town of Norwood has, tune into the Community Channel to see what Norwood has in store. Our Living Local segments chronicle the many different and entertaining spots in Norwood. From your favorite smoothie bowl at the juice bar to a new set of specs at Modern Eyes, Norwood's got something for everyone.
The Finance Commission met last week. The first order of business was a virtual meeting with Hilltop Securities, the town's financial advisors. The main topic of discussion was the town's AA bond rating and how the rating is determined. Chair Bodenhofer gave a brief overview of the Budget Balancing Committee and the preliminary 5-year plan. Town Manager Mizuko addressed the funding plan for capital projects and its effects on debt service. Commission members expressed their concern with the increase in debt service and the difficulty in making decisions prior to having an estimate of the free cash available. The meeting finished with a request for 2 warrant articles on the special town meeting warrant addressing reserve and stabilization issues. The Finance Commission meets next on October 19th at 6 p.m. The Board of Selectmen met on Tuesday and were joined by the Economic Development Committee to discuss FM Global's tax increment financing request and amendment to the 2011 TIF agreement. They discussed that the proposed project is designed to make Norwood the showcase for FM Global, which would bring significant VIPs from around the world to Norwood. The next Board of Selectmen meeting will be held on Tuesday, October 10th. The Historical Commission met Wednesday night to discuss a feasibility study for the Norwood pumping station on Route 1. Additional agenda items included the status of the application to the National Register for the St. Gabriel's Chapel located at Highland Cemetery. The Historical Commission will meet again next month. The Norwood Firefighters Union is hosting a special documentary viewing on Wednesday, October 4th at Norwood High School. Here's Norwood firefighters Paul Ronco and Dennis Mon.
Hello, my name is Paul Ronco. I'm the president of Norwood Firefighters Local 1631.
And I'm Dennis Maughan. I'm the secretary of Local 1631. And we're here to invite the entire community to a premiere showing of a movie called Burned, Protecting the Protectors. It's a free showing. It's at Norwood High School on October 4th at 7 p.m. And again, we're inviting everybody to come and see this film.
The documentary is about the epidemic of cancer in the fire service, particularly caused by the PFAS or forever chemicals found in our protective gear.
So again, we're inviting the whole community for this free showing of this very powerful film, October 4th at 7 p.m. in the Norwood High School auditorium. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Pam Christen of the Boston Food Forest Coalition will be leading a tour of the Endine Meadows Conservation Trails starting and ending at the Norwood Community Food Forest on Saturday, September 30th at 10 a.m. Kristen will be identifying and discussing edible and medicinal plants found in the wild. The event is free and family friendly. The Norwood High School Drama Department held an event called Breakfast with the Stars in the NHS cafeteria this past weekend. Kids of all ages gathered and were able to see some of their favorite movie characters come to life.
High school today, we are hosting our annual character breakfast, back for the first time since COVID. Character breakfast is little children of all ages can come and meet their favorite characters. We have Belle, we have Cinderella, we have Anna and Elsa, and as a bonus treat, we have characters from Star Wars, including Darth Vader, Chewbacca, and Princess Leia. The characters are from the Norwood High School Drama Department, and the Star Wars characters are from the 501st Regiment, and they're all volunteers from all around New England. Backstage boosters are the ones that produce it. So we're the ones behind the scenes, ordering the food, getting the children, getting the costumes, and all of that sort of thing. My personal favorite part is watching the little children come in and see their favorite movie character come to life right in front of their eyes. It brings everyone together, and it's fun, and we don't always get a chance to have fun with our families. So this is something for the little kids that not everybody always gets the chance to do.
Well, that's all for Norwood News. To stay up to date with Norwood Community Media, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We're going to leave you with a list of upcoming events happening in Norwood during the month of October. As always, thank you so much for watching. Have a great weekend.